When do they celebrate the 4th of July in England? What date?
The 12th.
Disaster.
Of what month?
July.
Yeah, so these girls are supposed to know stuff. They're supposed to, you know, like we're supposed to have relationships with these girls, right? Look at what they know.
Yes. What country is Mount Rushmore in?
North America.
Yeah, North America is a country.
I have no idea.
Yeah, that is a country. Can you name 3 countries besides the USA?
Okay. Jamaica. Africa, I think.
Africa's not a country. Africa is a continent.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, you're at 2.
Puerto Rico.
One more.
Puerto Rico.
Got it. Sniped. Do you know how long a quarter of an hour is?
Give me a second. 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. A quarter of 60 is 20. That's right.
Yes. Do you know how long each president serves their term?
2 years.
Yes. How many letters are in the alphabet?
26.
How many people are on Earth? Around how many, if you had to guess?
I don't know. 200 trillion? Some.
What? 200 trillion? What is this? Okay. Someone has no concept of numbers.
Something like that. Trillion.
Yes. If you were born 10 years ago, how old would you be today?
I was born 10 years ago. I would be, I'm 23, I would be 12.
That's right. 23 minus 10 is 12.
Do you know who fought in the Mexican-American War?
No, because I haven't learned that yet.
Mexican-American War. It's named in the title.
What's up?
I don't think I learned that yet.
So
If you had
what?
to take a guess. I guess 2 countries.
Guess 2 countries of what?
Who fought in that war? Mexican-American War.
Could be America or,
Yeah, America against who?
America, yeah. America and maybe Cuba or...
Yeah. Mexican-American War is America versus Cuba. Guys, 2023 in a nutshell. You see, what are these kids learning in school? They're learning, you know, who the best influencer is, you know, on TikTok. I'll bet they know that. I'll bet they know a million different YouTube channels and what they, you know, what they do. But they don't know this stuff. Hello and welcome to heliosblog. My name is Helios, here for another reaction video. If you're new to the channel, liking the content, hit that sub, hit all for notifications. If you'd like to support me, I do have a Patreon with exclusive content, newly revamped, posting weekly content, patreon.com/theheliosblog. Just go there and subscribe. Again, it's patreon.com/theheliosblog. You could also drop me a donation. Link is in the description. Shout outs to Adrian R and Tom M who already have. Let's continue with this travesty.
or Puerto Rico.
Yes. Nice. Around how many people would you say live on Earth?
On Earth?
Yeah.
8 million.
They know how to do their makeup. They don't know the difference between 8 million and 8 billion though.
Million or billion?
8 million.
Yes. How many presidents have we had so far?
I think Trump was like 50. What? I don't know, 50?
Yes. Do you know what 2 countries
I actually don't know that.
border the U.S.? Like touch the U.S. Above us and below us.
Canada.
Nice.
And it starts with an A.
No, that's America. No, Mexico is the other one.
You're close. Hey, what is it? Guess. Country that starts with an
Wait, did she get it?
A. It doesn't matter. You know this.
Wait, no, I really know it. Hold on. Wait, can we skip it?
No, you have to give me your best guess.
I know it's not this, but like Amsterdam. It's not this.
Amsterdam isn't even a country.
Wait, what is it? Like, can you just stop? I really don't know it.
Mexico.
New Mexico?
No, just Mexico.
Mexico, not New Mexico. New Mexico is a state.
How many cents make up $1?
25 cents. 4 quarters.
25 cents make up $1. Again, guys, and then they're like, do women understand the value of money? They don't even know how many cents make up $1. Obviously, this isn't representative of every person, but...
4 quarters.
Yeah, how many cents is that?
25.
Each.
Like in total, $1.
Oh, $1.
Who fought in the Civil War?
You said what?
Who fought in the Civil War?
As in, like, shooting range or like fight?
What? America versus America. Civil War.
Shooting range. The army and wait, what you mean? The first Civil War, second, third? You never know. So like,
What?
which one you talking about?
The Civil War.
Alright, if you want to get technical, I
Against?
think it was the Iraq. U.S. against the Iraq. We're not.
I don't think he knows what a civil war is. That's what it sounds like.
Yes, there was. Do you know how long each president serves their term?
6 years, but they can go for 12. Depends, like if people re-elect them.
Yes. Nice. If you make 10,000,
I don't. Is it 6? Isn't it 5 years? President's term, U.S. Sorry, can you guys tell I'm not from the U.S.? President's term, U.S. I think it's 5 years, right? Four years. Okay, there you go. 4 years. So 4 years, and then they can serve, I think, a maximum of 2 terms. Okay. Cool. So 4 years. Something you can look up on Google in 3 seconds.
$1,000 a month, and you work for an entire year, then how much money did you make? Around how much money? You have to guess.
Say that again.
You make $10,000 a month, and you work for 12 months. Then, like, how much money do you make at the end of the year?
10 times, like 24,000.
That's right. 10 times 12 is 24. Whew, baby. I'm gonna blow a gasket watching this video.
Yes. Do you know what country the Panama Canal is in?
No. No.
Panama Canal!
Guess a country. What do you think it is? Like, what does it sound like it's in?
Europe.
Panama's not in Europe. Central America. Wow.
Yes. What country is Hawaii in?
Hawaii is its own country. No, it's not its own country. It's not a country.
What
Nice.
country is it in? If you had to guess. Guess a country. You know this.
It's in Spanish.
Yeah.
No! It's in the US, idiot! God. I'm dying here, guys. Oh my god.
South America?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's South America's not a country!
Yes. What country is New York in? If you had to guess a country.
United States of America.
United States of America?
Yeah, no cheating.
I'm dead cheating. I look at you serious.
No more cheating. You know how many stars are on the US flag?
52 now?
Yes. Do you know what year the War of 18?
I don't know how many stars are on the flag. Is it 50? 50 states? Let me look it up. Stars on US flag. 50 stars. Cool, I knew somehow. Again, you hear this stuff in passing, right?
1812 was?
When was the War of 1812? Girl full on hides her face because, well, you don't want to be embarrassed on YouTube, right?
Like, was it a long time ago or like recently?
You said what?
Do you know when the War of 1812 was?
Long time ago?
Yeah, I'll say War of 1812. It's literally in the name, guys. Listen. Man, I'm dying here. Okay. All right. So basically, what was the point of making this reaction video? The point was to show you that the United States, like, the average person doesn't know anything, right? So, and then these girls get into relationships with the guys and they demand all this stuff, right? When they don't even know answers to basic questions. They literally know nothing about anything. And then they demand. You know, they're literally like lukewarm, like room temperature IQ. Like, I'm not even from the United States and I know the answer to these questions. Like, most of them. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Okay. So I actually finished all of Rollo Tomasi's articles, but you're lucky. I've actually bought the Rational Male book, so I'm just going to read from Rollo's books. And we'll just do, like, little pieces on the YouTube channel. And then if you want to hear the whole book, it's just on Patreon. I'm reading it as an ebook. Okay? Sorry, as an audiobook. Okay? So here's The Origin of Alpha by Rollo Tomasi. Safe bedroom fun, safe clothing, safe hairspray, safe ozone layer, too late. Everything that's been achieved in the history of mankind has been achieved by not being safe. This is Lemmy Kilmeister from Motorhead. A rational male reader, Jeremiah, presented me with a well-worn question. My question is, Tomasi, do you think alpha traits are usually learned or genetically inherited? What percentage of modern men get it? And of the men who get it, how many of them have always gotten it, and how many of them learn to adapt? It's hard to believe there's still naturals out there when womanism is being rammed up the A word of every man before he sprouts his first tooth. I don't think distilling the essence of alpha presence in a man is as subjective as most people feel compelled to qualify, enumerate, or otherwise yammer on about in as personally identifying a manner as they can muster. In my estimation, alpha is a state of mind, not a demographic. The manosphere will endlessly debate the qualifications of what is alpha, but I think for the most part the influence of an alpha mindset, whatever that qualifier is more or less agreed upon. However, with this in mind, I think it's a perfectly valid question to ask whether an alpha is born that way or molded into his alpha mindset. This is actually the classic debate psychology has always put to its various schools of thought. Nature versus nurture. Is dynamic influenced by inherent biological, environmental prompts, or is that dynamic a learned, socialized, and acculturated phenomenon? And of course, the equally classic conflict comes from people attempting to define various dynamics in terms of absolutes, when to greater or lesser degrees a dynamic is influenced by both nature and nurture elements. While the Tomasi school of psychology is firmly planted at the nuts and bolts of behaviorism, it's also important to take into account that external influences can and too often do modify innate inborn predispositions, even inborn self-preservation instincts. So this in mind, my perspective on the origin of alpha is that biology determines the starting point, and what happens to it from there is modified by a man's environmental condition. Alpha energy, for lack of a better term, is to varying degrees part of a male human's biologically determined starting package. From there, through social feedback, it's either refined and developed by his upbringing, acculturation and social affirmation, or it's repressed, constrained, and mitigated by his social environment. When I was in art school, one of my most influential teachers told me, there are two types of artists: those who are born with a mutual innate gift for art, a natural one, and those who lack that gift but possess such a passion for art that it drives them to be good at it. The true masters are the artists that combine both natural talent and the drive that comes from a passion. I've always referred back to this model in my creative efforts, but I believe this model can be extended beyond just the artistic sense. The learned alpha. Manosphere godfather Rushvi has an excellent breakdown of the myth of the natural that perfectly encapsulates the learning theory of alpha. The premise behind that is that alpha behavior, and consequently facility with women, comes as a set of molded behaviors based on trial and error. If I were forced to agree on what a natural is, it would be a man who's a prodigy of bedroom fun, someone who gets laid way above other men, with no formal instruction in game. This means he was not exposed to any 12 DVD cocky humor sets or seminars in a hotel room with 3 dozen other guys. You look at him and think, wow, he gets laid automatically. He was born to get laid. But he wasn't. Just because he didn't read a book doesn't mean he didn't learn through trial and error like you did, practicing his game on a large number of women. It doesn't mean that he wasn't conscious and deliberate with his behavior, incrementally improving his moves and tactics over a long period of time. He has experimented like you've experimented, and he has also connected his attempts with results to figure out what works and what doesn't. He may not be obsessive about it enough to log his data into a spreadsheet, but he's mindful and aware of what he's doing. He understands the mechanism behind charm and can often turn it on or off depending on what he wants. He's learned the type of humor and storytelling that gets a positive response in women. The last thing you can say about him was that he was born into a world with the automatic ability to sleep with a lot of girls. Essentially, what Roosh explores here is a very basic behavioral psychology premise. Macro psychological dynamics to micro psychological schema are developed deliberately or unconsciously through a process of deductive trial and error management. Whether you're aware of it or not, everyone has a game to varying degrees. Every man you know has some concept of behaviors and mental attitudes he believes will best help him arrive at bedroom fun intimacy with a woman. Even the worst blue pill beta believes he has some idea of how best to get with a girl. All of this proto-game has been in constant state of trial and error management since you were 5 years old and had your first interaction with the opposite gender on the kindergarten playground, right up to the point when you started reading in the manosphere and discovered the RP. And you'll continue to modify your old behavior and mental sets based upon the new information available to you after you adopt formalized game. In fact, in its rawest sense, the PUA community, the manosphere, and all its permutations are really a meta effort in behavioral modification by way of experimentation and information feedback. For some, this learning process comes easier than it does for others. Again, Roosh, the reason he blows you away isn't because of his genetics, but because of how early he started. A unique set of circumstances threw him into the bedroom fun game years before you, during a time he was lucky enough to be surrounded by giggly schoolgirls. By the time you did your first approach, he'd already practiced his game on hundreds of women. While I do agree with this from a behavioral standpoint, this is where I have to depart from accepting Roosh's theory entirely. There are far too many biological and environmental determinants involved in developing an alpha male to ascribe an alpha status solely based on learned behavior. The simple, observable fact is that a genetically better looking, more physically arousing male is going to statistically have more opportunities to experiment and develop his alpha game prowess than a less physically impressive male. In theory, a man with a more advantageous physical presence will start earlier in his process of deductively evaluating behaviors, since his efforts will be more frequently encouraged by the women who are naturally attracted to his physique. Unfortunately, all that assumes developing a behavioral set in a vacuum. That there's literally a world of environmental conditions and variables that would predispose a man towards behavioral development of alpha, or more often limit him from it. Roosh touches on this. At this point you may be thinking, well, there have to be guys who are born into it. Look at Mozart. Nobody questions that Mozart's achievements were extraordinary compared to those of his contemporaries. What's often forgotten, however, is that his development was equally exceptional for his time. His musical tutelage started before he was 4, and his father was also a skilled composer and music teacher. He wrote books on violin instruction. Like other world-class performers, Mozart was not born an expert, he became one. I don't think this example excludes for a natural innate talent, but it does help to illustrate the environment's role in molding a person by limiting or encouraging his behavioral development and ultimately his personality. In the Mozart example, we see the success story of a natural talent encouraged and developed potential by favorable external conditions. Mozart was the perfect storm of natural talent and an ideal environment for nurturing it, thus giving the advantage of an early start in his behavioral efforts. My reader, Jeremiah, laments, "It's hard to believe there are still naturals out there when womanism is being rammed up the A word of every man before he sprouts his first tooth." And of course, this is a negative example of environment deliberately averse to nurturing an alpha mindset. There's no shortage of examples, but feminization from a behavioral psychology perspective is nothing less than a socialized effort in deliberate behavioral modification of men's natural drives and predilections to better fit the feminine imperative. As men are socialized in an all-encompassing, pervasive, femme-centric reality, we tend to see natural alphas as outliers, because somehow, through some combination of innate gift and external development, these men have developed themselves into an alpha state despite the environment we find ourselves in. The natural alpha. A lot of people call my credibility into question when they read my holding of Corey Worthington as an example of an apex alpha. Guys who believe that alpha should necessarily mean virtuous leaders of men are understandably insulted by Corey's indifferent alpha swagger. The qualities of alpha debates aren't going away, but I think there's an overall consensus among the manosphere and legitimate psychologists alike that there's an innate, probably testosterone-fueled alpha drive that manifests itself in human males. No one has to teach the average healthy 5-year-old boy how to be alpha. He gets it on his own. In various contexts, that lil alpha wants to explore his surroundings, take risks, see what works and what doesn't, and even when the consequences may be endangering to himself or destroying the thing he took apart to see how it worked. It may manifest as a boy attempting to ride wheelies on his bike, or a kid tinkering with his dad's computer. But that unrefined, irrationally confident alpha swagger is by order of degrees an innate element unique to the male condition. And if you want more, you can go to my Patreon, or you can buy Rolo Tomasi's book for yourself.
Yeah, if you had to guess a year, around how many? Around what year was it?
Like, probably like Like a decade ago, probably.
Yeah, the War of 1812 was a decade ago.
A decade.
2013.
What, a year.
Yeah. 12? I don't know.
Yes. Do you know how many presidents we've had so far?
50. 51.
Yes.
I don't know how many. I don't know how many presidents we've had, but like the United States has had. Wait, how many years has the U.S. been a thing? Like around 200? If it's every 4 years, it should be 50, right? Ish. I don't know. Let's look at number of presidents. Again, I'm sure these guys learn it in school. 46. Okay, so close to 50.
What country is the Queen of England from? Originally.
I definitely don't know.
No, give me your
England.
best guess. I guess a country.
What is a country again?
Doesn't even know what a country is.
Give me a guess.
This is
Disaster.
embarrassing. What is a country? What is a country? What is a country? Canada.
Perfect.
Yes. Do you know what time this is?
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. 2:45.
What? It's 1:50. This guy can't even tell time with a clock.
Yes. Do you know what country the Great Wall of China is in?
Country?
Yeah.
Asia.
If you had to guess.
Japanese?
Even better. Oh man, if you told a Chinese person that, they'd get so mad. That's hilarious.
Yes. Do you know what the third month of each year is?
Ain't that leap year or some shit?
Yeah, the third month of each year is a leap year.
Yeah. Do you know what 15% of 100 is?
Fuck.
Around what it is, if you had to guess.
Probably like 75. I don't know.
Yeah, $75. Oh, is she talking about 15% off? She's actually pretty close. It'd be 85 then.
Yes. Do you know what
Yeah, she's thinking about 15% off.
country we gained our independence from?
Spain.
Yes. How many inches are in 2 feet?
I don't know.
Around how many inches? If you had to guess.
5.
1 foot is 12 inches. So 2 feet is 12 times 2. So 24 inches.
Yes. Do you know what country the Panama Canal is in?
No.
If you had to guess, like what do you think it sounds like it's in? Guess a country.
Europe?
Yes. Can you
Panama is not in Europe. Okay. They hear something that ends with A and they assume it's Europe.
name all the months?
September, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August.
Okay, no, November and December. How about Christmas?
Yes. Do you know what country the Panama Canal is in?
Panama, Spain.
Oh, I don't know if Panama... Well, Panama was a Spanish colony, of course, but I don't think it is anymore. I think it's its own independent country. I'm looking it up. Is Panama part of Spain? Because you know, like, Martinique and stuff, like, is considered... it's considered France, even though it's its own country, right? 1821 is when Panama became independent. So, no. But it was a Spanish colony. It was, historically speaking. All right. Let's go to the Reddit post here. Relationship advice posted 23 hours ago. So the girl's 22 and the guy's 28. My boyfriend said he had the time of his life hanging out with another girl. My boyfriend and I went clubbing last weekend with some of our friends. In the smokers area, there was this one girl sitting at a table, so we asked if we could sit with her, and she said yes, and we started talking to her. I had a friend come later, so I went and met up with her in the same club, and we hung out inside for a bit before we went up with the smokers. I don't remember what I said or how this happened, but my boyfriend said he had the time of his life hanging out with this girl that he'd only just met. I guess that made me feel a bit weird. She was pretty cool, but I guess it just feels weird that my boyfriend said that another girl, he didn't say that when he's hanging out with me. Yeah, that's called dread. It's very effective in maintaining relationships. Let's look at the top comment. 764 upvotes. Yeah, that's weird. Did they exchange contact info? Yes, they added each other on Messenger. Well, I think some bedroom fun is in the future. A couple of days ago, I asked if they were still talking. He said, I'm the only girl he wants to talk to, and I don't know how to feel about this. I haven't seen him all day today, and it's after 11 p.m., and he's not home, and he doesn't tell me what he's doing or when I can expect him home. Like, I thought telling your partner this stuff was a respect thing. I also asked him not to touch money in a certain account that we share. I've already asked him at least 3 times not to touch it if he needs money. I'm more than happy to send it to him. When I looked at the certain account tonight, I saw that he touched the money in there again. I'm really annoyed at the moment. Sorry, I just wanted to get that out. Okay, so he spent some money on this girl, going on a date probably, and maybe there's some bedroom fun in the future. He had the time of his life after all. Yeah, 72 upvotes. Betty's not quote-unquote talking to the new girl. 253. Does he often go all day with little contact? Is that brand new? It's a red flag either way. It's just a gigantic one with flashing lights if it started after he met this girl. Yeah. 114 upwards. So when you ask him if they're still talking, he didn't answer? Because saying you're the only girl I want to talk to is not an answer to your question. It's a deflection. Sorry, but you're not annoyed enough. In fact, you should be way more than annoyed. You should be done. Take your money out of reach. Take your heart out of reach. This man is about to shatter both your bank account and your trust. But again, guys, notice, which are the guys that girls date? Is it Beta Billy or is it this guy? I mean, keep that in mind. Okay, we're going to end the video there. Again, if you're new to the channel, liking the content, hit that sub, hit all for notifications. If you'd like to support me, I do have a Patreon with exclusive content. Patreon.com/theheliosblog. Just go there and subscribe. Again, it's patreon.com/theheliosblog. You can also drop me a donation like Adrian R and Tom M. Shoutouts to them. Again, the link is in the description. Thank you so much, guys, for taking the time out of your day to listen to the video, especially if you listen to the end. I really do appreciate it. You guys are wonderful. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.